Hello, my name is Sandra and welcome back to my channel. As I promised, I would be back with another autofiction video. So this video, I want to go through the 5 autofiction novels that I want to read next. I have 3 English novels and 2 French novels, but don't worry, I'm going to give you the English titles of those novels. Now, if you're not too sure what autofiction is, it's basically the combination of autobiography and fiction. If you want to know more, I made a complete video on what is autofiction plus 5 beginner recommendations. You can watch that video before coming back to this video, or it's up to you, whatever you prefer, but that video will be linked down below. Now, without further ado, let's get into the books. So the first autofiction book on my list is 1004 by Ben Lerner. I've only heard great things about Ben Lerner, and apparently he's one of those authors that mainly writes autofiction. I thought I would start with this one. This book has been on my shelf for maybe 7 years or something, so I think it's time for me to pick it up, and plus it's very short. 1004 follows our narrator, who is a New Yorker who is enjoying the height of his literary success, but his luck runs out as he's diagnosed with what could be a fatal medical condition, and on top of that, his best friend asks him to help her conceive a child together. So in the middle of dealing with the chaos of his mortality and fatherhood, he's also living in a New York that is threatening to go under superstorms and social injustice. So I think this is just going to be such a great book to read. I love books that are set in New York, and I can't wait for this to be my first Ben Lerner. The next autofiction novel I want to read is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I cannot believe that we are approaching the year 2025 and I have not yet read anything by Carmen Maria Machado. I really need to change that ASAP because this book is really up my alley. In this fictionalized memoir, Machado goes through her same-sex abusive relationship, but she employs different lens to view this relationship, which makes the story more impactful, and this is exactly what I was talking about in the previous video on autofiction as to how experimental the style can get. So in order to describe her abusive relationship, she uses narrative tropes and different styles. She uses classic fairy tale and horror themes, and I just think that this one is going to be a fascinating read and also a very poignant read if you have suffered through an abusive relationship as well. The third book I want to read is I Love Dick by Chris Cross. This was actually published in 1997. The title might repel some people, but I think it allows for an intriguing conversation and it really pushes the boundaries, especially that it was published in 1997. The story follows Chris Kraus, the author herself, and she's a 40-year-old unsuccessful artist. And in this book, she recounts how she fell for this enigmatic character, academic character called Dick. And in this romantic fling, affair, attraction, she actually involves her husband in the whole thing. So the whole thing progresses as a game for the couple that is directed by Dick. But from what I read online, it's beyond the attraction that she has for this one man. It's actually an exploration of her life, an exploration of feminist themes, etc. So I think this is going to be a wonderful book to read. The fourth book I want to read is a French book called Changer Méthode by Edouard Louis, or similar title in English, it's called Change, a novel by Edouard Louis. I tried to do that in English. That was horrible. But yes, this one I've talked about a few times on my channel because the moment I heard about this book, I really wanted to read it. And the reason why I haven't read it yet is because you remember when I started making French video vlogs? I know I have to use my French to read this because I want to make a vlog and like challenge myself to read a French book per month and talk about it in French. So I've been procrastinating, but I definitely do want to start with this one when I get back into that project. So for those of you who are accustomed to autofiction, you guys will know that the French writers love the autofiction style, so it's no wonder that every time I talk about autofiction there will be some French books that I recommend and that I want to read. In this book, Louis tackles social class and transformation. He departs from his working class upbringing, in which he's accustomed to poverty, violence, and homophobia, to receive an education in Amiens, France, and then he later goes on to the University of Paris. So since the focus of this book is social mobility and transformation, he actually changes his name, his real name, from Eddie to Edouard, in order to sound classier and to fit in with the aristocrats, the millionaires, and the drug dealers he hangs out with. Essentially, this is Louis' personal odyssey in which he eradicates his past. And this is truly probably the one I'm going to read next and review next on my channel. The fifth and last autofiction book is a French book again. It's called Rien ne s'oppose à la nuit by Delphine de Vigan, or Nothing Holds Back the Night by Delphine de Vigan. So in this novel, Vigan's inquiring into her mother's dark past. Her mother, Lucille, raised 2 daughters on her own before she was hospitalized. And her mother was still a teenager when she gave birth to Delphine de Vigan. So for this book, Vigan interviews older family members, she listens to recordings, and she reads Lucille's old writings in order to craft a narrative of her mother's life. And in the places in which there are great gaps to fill, Vigan uses her writer's imagination to reconstruct what's missing. And that's exactly why it makes it an autofiction novel. So now I know I said that I had 5 autofiction novels to share with you, but I actually lied because I have a bonus book that I definitely want to read. I just don't have a copy. And the book is The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis. Oh my god. I was already intrigued and obsessed by the premise of this book, but when I learned that it is an autofiction novel, I was blown away and my excitement just shot up. I think this is why a lot of people, including myself, love autofiction, because we're so nosy. We'll never know what's real and what's imagined and what's fake, but it's just that allure that like this is based on a true story. What part of it is based on a true story, and how come life is stranger than fiction sometimes? So let me explain to you the plot of the book. Before we get to the plot though, I just want to say Bret Easton Ellis, if you recognize the name, he is the author of American Psycho, and he also attended Bennington College with Miss Donna Tartt, the famous author of The Secret History. So these two are friends, and these two write in the dark academia, very tense, dark atmospheric books. So I just found that even more interesting. But this story is set before going to Bennington College. It's actually set when he was, I believe, attending an exclusive prep school called Buckley. So it's about Bret Easton's life when he was 17 years old and attending prep school. In this book, a serial killer is on the loose and he's taunting high school students, notably Bret Easton Ellis. I don't know if that's true, but I think it is, and that is insane to me. And then to make matters worse, there is a new student at the school, and this new student makes it into Bret Easton Ellis's group of friends, like close-knit friends at the private school, and he becomes obsessed with this new student. Like obsessed. So The Shards is about sex, jealousy, fear, rage, and obsession, and it's Ellis's coming-of-age horror story that blurs fact and fiction. And it's just so up my alley. So that was it. These are the 5 autofiction novels that I want to read next, plus the bonus autofiction novel that I would love to read. And yeah, let me know if you read any of these books. Let me know if some of these sound super interesting to you now, or if you've read any of the books that I recommended in the previous autofiction video. I would love to know. It makes me so happy when you guys read my recommendations and then like comment down below or send me a message. It really makes my day. It really feels like I have accomplished something on this channel, so I love it. And I will continue reading good books, and I will continue reviewing them and recommending them. So for now, I wish you happy reading, and I'll see you on the next book video. Bye!